It's the 15th day of April 2023, and you are just in time for the Legends edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House in the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. I'm Edmund Mudibo. Top in this bulletin.
We have brought in a new headmistress, principal for that school, by the name Sister Jane Mbone Amukoya, with immediate effect.
Cracking the whip. Education Cabinet Secretary replaces Mukumu Girls High School principal and disbands the school's board following a disease outbreak that left 3 students and a teacher dead.
Hii mipango yote tunataka kumaliza ndani ya mwaka moja, hii barabara zote zitakuwa zimekamilika.
No handshake. President William Ruto assures Kenyans he will deliver on election pledges. Claiming a piece of the space, Kenya launches historic operational satellite dubbed Taifa 1. Many thanks for making the Legends Choice your choice, rather Legends Edition, your choice for this evening. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Moura. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu Saturday announced the replacement of Mukumu Girls High School Principal Frida Ndolo with Jane Mbone Wamukoya. The CS also disbanded the school's Board of Management, BOM, following a disease outbreak at the school that has left 3 students and a teacher dead. Meanwhile, the CS also ordered the sinking of a new borehole and the treatment of water across the county. He said a water purification system worth 6 million shillings will be given to the school.
Just a day after the Ministry of Health issued a press release linking the 4 deaths reported in Mukumu Girls High School to diarrhea and typhoid fever, the Ministry of Education has responded through its Cabinet Secretary, who toured Mukumu Girls High School today. The CS, Ezekiel Machogu, has made changes in the school, announcing the replacement of the school principal, Frida Ndolo, with Mbone Wamukoya, with the school board also being disbanded.
We have brought in a new headmistress, principal for that school, by the name Sister Jane Mbone Amukoya, with immediate effect. From Monday, we are also having a new board of management for that particular school, who will then be able to assist each other with the new administration in making sure that the various measures we have come up with will be undertaken.
Ndolo came under fire after reports of water and food contamination leading to the death of the first 2 students at the school. The CS has ordered sinking of a new borehole and treatment of water across the county as the school waits to be reopened in 2 weeks' time.
And the work of treating that borehole is commencing with immediate effect. But in 2 weeks' time, we should be able to have that particular borehole operation, and hopefully we should be able to reopen the school not later than 2 weeks from now.
In addition, the Cabinet Secretary has also ordered the destruction of all food and procurement of new consignments.
The food, we are going to destroy all the food, and going forward, we are going to procure a new consignment of food for the students as they come.
Current changes of your service delivery.
Meanwhile, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Akumicha has said that Kenya is grappling with cases of diarrhea, but the government is putting in place strategies to address the situation.
Even in the schools that we're experiencing issues, if only proper sanitation, proper hygiene and food handling and storage, that should be able to take care of diarrhea cases within the country.
Frederick Parsayo, Legends Edition.
President William Ruto has ruled out the possibility of a handshake with the opposition leadership. President Ruto said that he is instead keen on delivering his election pledges to Kenyans. He accused the Azimio la Umoja leader of allegedly using Kenyans to advance his selfish interests. The head of state spoke in Kiambu County, where he launched the resumption of the construction of the 90-kilometer Gashie-Kiambu-Limuru road.
President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua were in Gashie area of Kiamba constituency in Kiambu County to launch the resumption of construction of the 90-kilometer Gashie road. The road, whose construction had stalled, will crisscross Kiambu town, Kiamba and Limuru.
Hii mipango yote tunataka kumaliza ndani ya mwaka moja. Hii barabara zote zitakuwa zimekamilika. Alafu zile zingine ambazo zimekwama, mimi nataka niwaambie vile vile ya kwamba tuko na mpango maalum ya kukwamua hizo barabara zote.
It is here that the head of state called out Azimio la Umoja coalition over what he termed as doublespeak and attempts to use Kenyans to advance selfish gains.
Kama wewe ni kiongozi, ati unatafuta haki yako wewe kama kiongozi ya binafsi. Wewe mbona unaenda kuhangaisha wananchi? Unaleta maandamano, unapiganisha watu, unaharibu mali ya watu.
The president ruling out the possibility of a handshake with Odinga.
Ni wakati ya maji, ni wakati ya special economic zone, ni wakati ya hospitali ya hapa Kihara. Hiyo ndio mkate mimi niko naye. Mkate ya kukatia mtu akitendawili mimi sina.
Tuko tayari kwa mazungumzo ya IBC na yale mambo mengine yote yanawahusu wa Kenya wa kawaida. Lakini mambo ya nusu mkate na mambo ya handshake, we want to tell them today, you cannot have your cake and eat it. If you are going to demonstrations, there is no dialogue. Na mkiulizwa nani amesema, museme ni mtoto ya maumau.
All the time I want. Wakati huu aketi chini, aone serikali ya Kenya kwanza ikifanya kazi.
The head of state saying that his government was on course in lowering the prices of unga.
Sasa tumeagiza chakula kutoka nje, imefika wiki iliyopita. Sasa kuanzia next week hiyo bei ya unga itateremka, itafika 150.
The construction of 5,000 affordable houses in Kiambu County, the president noted, will create jobs for over 15,000 youth.
Hizo nyumba tunahitaji plumbers, tunahitaji masons, tunahitaji carpenters, tunahitaji electricians, tunahitaji masons, tunahitaji carpenters. Hawa wote ni vijana wa kutoka hapa Kiambu.
With the first 1,000 units tuko tayari hapa Ruiru na Thika. Na hata hapa tumepangia mahali yake Your Excellency, na hawa vijana ndio watafanya hiyo kazi Your Excellency. Hapa vijana wengi hapa ni mafundi vile unaona hapa.
Earlier in the day, the head of state was in Narok County, where he launched the 1.5 billion shillings Narok Town Sewerage Project and commissioned the Suswa Water Project in Narok East constituency. The project will supply at least 5 million litres of water per day to over 40,000 households. Kenya Kwanza leaders have hit out at Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga following his decision to continue holding nationwide demonstrations alongside the bipartisan talks, saying that the government was committed on delivering to the electorate. Nancy Okware reporting for Legends Edition from Gashie in Kiambu County.
Meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has dismissed threats by the Azimio One Kenya coalition party of leading mass protests even as bipartisan talks commence. Speaking during a tree planting exercise in Nyandarua County, the Deputy President warned protesters against destroying property during mass action and encouraged the Inspector General of Police to remain firm. The DP has at the same time called on all Kenyans to actively participate in planting trees as a remedy to climate change.
The tree planting exercise at Lake Olbolosat, which is facing extinction due to effects of deforestation, not only offered Kenya Kwanza leaders a platform to discuss environment conservation, but also a chance to respond to Azimio One Kenya coalition party that has threatened to resume to mass protests.
As we make the people of Nyandarua plant trees and benefit from the digital opportunities on it, those who are planning to go back on protests, let them go back on protests and stick on protests. They cannot have their cake and eat it. They cannot be saying they are on protest and at the same time wanting to have talks on the side.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, while dismissing Raila's threats, encouraged the Inspector General of Police to remain firm.
Continue doing your work. You are a very professional IG doing your work professionally. All you did is to protect life and property. Had they not come to the streets, there would have been no issue between the police and the demonstrators. So let them keep their people at home. Then there will be no problem with the police. In fact, the people who should be taken to ICC are those Azimio characters who have destroyed life, property belonging to the people of Kenya.
The DP and the Environment Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya also rallied Nyandarua residents to proactively plant trees that are not harmful to the environment.
Kila Mkenya utahitajika kupanda miti 30 peke yake kwa mwaka. Only 30 trees in a year. Na ukitaka kupanda kwa miaka 10, utahitajika kupanda miti 300 peke yake. Na hiyo itaokoa maisha yetu.
Mimi mwenyewe nimeenda hapo na nimeshangaa. Na tumekubaliana na waziri wetu wa mazingira, tutaita mkutano wa stakeholders wote wa conservation. Tuongee mambo ya hii ziwa na vile tutaiokoa.
The government aims to plant 15 billion trees in 10 years to mitigate effects of climate change. Over 10,000 trees were planted near Lake Olbolosat during the exercise organized by Nyandarua Senator John Medhu in conjunction with Dedan Kimathi Foundation.
Lake yetu ambayo ni kubwa sana, 1000 hectares landmass ya maji imekauka, imebakia maji kama hekta 2 ama 3. Kwa hivyo tumekubaliana mambo ya kuangalia Lake Olbolosat si mambo ya mtu mmoja.
And as a student of Mau Mau, we are acting by saying climate change haitadhulumu nchi yetu.
The drying Lake Olbolosat is the source of Ewasonyiro River, which sustains livelihoods in Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo and Laikipia counties. So the need for concerted efforts to restore water tower in this area cannot be overemphasized. Gishoke Washira, reporting from Nyandarua County.
The long-awaited Kenya's first operational satellite, dubbed Taifa-1, has been successfully launched into space. The launch has been halted 3 times due to unfavorable conditions in the space atmosphere. Our reporter Alvin Kaunda tells us what this move means for the country.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, engines full power.
Kenya's first Earth observational satellite Taifa-1 has been successfully airlifted to space in California, United States aboard SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, and the 50 million Kenyan shilling satellite only weighs about 10 kilograms.
Technology is getting smaller and more affordable. So by having a nano satellite, which is actually 10 by 10 by 30 centimeter, we're able to pack a lot of complexity or systems into a small satellite.
Kenya now joins 14 African countries with operational satellites.
So the manufacturing, assembly, integration and testing, we had to do them in Bulgaria. We are looking at building facilities that will enable us be able to do that in the country.
The satellite has a camera with the capability of detecting and identifying subjects that are close to 16 meters from the Earth's surface. The information captured is relayed to the ground receiver, which will be operational beginning June this year, and it will be monitored from the Kasarani ground station.
As we will be doing the commissioning, we will also be doing the finalizing ground station. We are quite at an advanced stage. I can say 90% is done.
This is a deliberate move by the Kenyan government to exploit the opportunities in utilization of space science technologies and its application.
So as the satellite appears, they make a handshake and start transmitting. like the signals just to confirm, yes, that I'm here, yes, I'm ready to receive. Then it sends the data.
70% of vessels in outer space are owned by private sectors around the world, and private sectors in Kenya will have the opportunity to tap into the satellite under supervision with an aim of improving Kenya's economy. Taifa 1 will be orbiting Kenya after every 4 days and will be operational for the next 5 years.
The satellite crosses the equatorial plane at 10:34. That is for us, for Kenya. So in that orbit, we'll be able to image Kenya at the same time every day.
The Taifa 1 satellite is expected to provide timely and regular imagery data for predictive analysis and data-driven decision to support to agriculture, food security, national resources management, and the blue economy. For Legends Edition, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
It's 1:15 and it's time for our first break, but don't go too far because on the other side, we'll tell you what the health workers have threatened to do come Wednesday. Stay tuned.
Biggest odds in the world every day on selected matches. Make a decision. Mozart Bet.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash. *811 *963 hash.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Wewe nini mbaya na wewe? Umefanya nini wewe sasa? Angalia kile umefanya. Wewe leta pesa.
Kuna nini? Oh, so alikuwa tu mwenda wazimu anatembea looking around for free labor.
I have eyes on a lorry. Repeat. I have eyes on a lorry. Be aware.
Chini, piga magoti. Panta, lorry, trucking.
Goja exactly 5 minutes. Kama sitakuwa in exactly 5 minutes enda. What's the maximum time they're going to go serious? Go serious.
Kwa miaka karibu 6 sijawahi kufanya mkutano wa Injili maeneo ya Pwani, haswa Mombasa. Mkutano huu utakuwa mkutano mkubwa zaidi mahali panaitwa VOK karibu na Bombolulu.
Mwingine ndio yule ameponea kule wako wengi.
Nimepona. Umetoka wapi? Yes. Umetoka Shega.
Shega.
Shida ilikuwa ni mfupa.
Arthritis. Pressure.
Ulcers. Mwaka 5. Nimemeza dawa aina yoyote.
Leo unatembea.
Leo nimepona.
Utampe Yesu makofi mazuri.
Mungu akuponye jinsi ambavyo amewaponya hao.
The number is growing without preaching. Wherever Jesus is, miracles and wonders will never cease.
Welcome back. Remember, you can still get interactive with us using the hashtag Legends Edition, and my Twitter handle is ED Mudibo. The Kenya National Union of Teachers NAT leadership, drawn from Nyanza region, has thrown its weight behind the government. The leaders commended the government for what they said are progressive steps in the education sector. The NAT officials, led by National Secretary General Collins Oyu, made the declaration as they met the Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo at his home in Rarieda constituency.
Information, Communication Technology and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo continued with his charm offensive in Nyanza region as he seeks to explain the government's development agenda to a region that has predominantly voted for the opposition.
People say we have got the counties, that now we have counties, we don't need national government. Let me tell you, the money that is available at the counties is a drop in the ocean compared to the development programs that need to be rolled out in this area. We must be aligned to the national government. And that alignment is only undertaken through an electoral process.
Owalo today meeting hundreds of Kenya National Union of Teachers officials drawn from the region. The teachers officials vying to support the government of the day in its development agenda.
That this union was dead at some time. And these members here, 80% went home without salary for over 2 years. This union is back and very strong. And we cannot make one mistake twice. Over times and in the history of this great union, Kenya National Union of Teachers must work with the government of the day.
I also want to assure you that William Ruto's government will correspondingly work with the teaching fraternity.
The Cabinet Secretary revealed that plans were underway to ensure affordable and sustainable internet to enable virtual learning as a viable option in decongestion of classrooms across the country.
Specifically in the education sector, we want to ensure that in the not too distant future, we have got virtual learning platforms all over, so that you don't need to have physical walls. But you need to start thinking of the challenges that brings also. That means also all of us as Kenyans, we must have adequate ICT skills.
Owalo reiterated the government's stand to work with all Kenyans, regardless of their political affiliation, in the last general poll.
We need an enabling environment. You cannot be doing demonstrations week in, week out and expect development to be undertaken in a given region. So let's forget about this issue of demonstrations. It's not going to help us as a country. Let's wait for elections. We have got one government under William Ruto. That will be the government up to 2022.
The Cabinet Secretary said to meet farmers drawn from the sugarcane, cotton and fish sectors as they seek to realize value addition in the farm products in the region.
Health workers have threatened to down their tools beginning Wednesday next week over salary delays. The health workers, in a statement, singled out 12 counties that have not paid the health workers' salaries going back almost 3 months.
In a statement, the healthcare workers, through their umbrella unions, have threatened to down their tools on the 19th of April this month. The notice singled out 12 counties that include Kisumu, Mombasa, Nyamira, Kisii, Murang'a, Nyeri, Laikipia, Bomet, Nyandarua, Embu, Vihiga, and Taita Taveta over non-payment of previous month's salaries that extend to statutory deductions. They are calling on the government to intervene before the D-Day, noting that their members have been subjected to difficult financial situations as some are unable to meet their daily needs. And in Kisii County, Kenya Union of Clinical Officers has withdrawn clinical officers at Nduru Sub-County Hospital following an attack by members of the public during a stock-taking exercise on medical equipment. Addressing the media in Kisii Town, Kuko Branch Chairman Lazarus Obwoge condemned the assault and called on authorities to probe the matter and bring the culprits to book before the clinicians can resume their duties.
We have advised our members to stay far away from that facility. The facility will not be having our members who are going to be intimidated by the political class and the community that does not appreciate the services that we are giving.
The political intolerance that is being shown currently, it is pathetic.
To an extent, people or politicians are monitoring our healthcare workers. They are planting their stooges there to monitor our people how they work. Some want to arrest people.
Opicho Chemtai for Legend Edition.
Still on matters medical, a family in Dege, Ndimu, Nakuru County is seeking financial assistance to enable their kin undergo open heart surgery. 12-year-old Favor Gadura has been undergoing treatment for rheumatic heart disease for the last 5 years and now needs 1.6 million shillings to undergo open heart surgery.
Favor Gadura is visibly exhausted. He walks sluggishly at the Ndegendimu home, stopping after every few minutes to catch his breath. 12-year-old Gadura has just marked a 5th year living with rheumatic heart disease, a condition that has exerted a heavy toll on him, as his mother narrates.
Kona rheumatic heart disease, valvu zake bili hazifanyi kazi. Huyu mtoto hawezi ona vizuri, huyu mtoto hawezi hata fanya chochote, hata kusoma kwa shule inakuwa na shida. Na huyu mtoto ako junior secondary, amejoin this year.
She says the high cost of managing his son's condition have been a burden to the family.
Haijakuwa rahisi, na unajua huyu mtoto lazima aonyeshe apelekwe kwa daktari wakati mwingi, ndio daktari amuone, ndio ampe madawa. Amekuwa anatumia madawa all these years, kwa hivyo hata hiyo ni kama imemuaffect sababu kumeza dawa kila wakati.
This condition, as the father states, has affected them economically.
Sasa hata biashara tangu wagojeke mwezi wa pili hatujai kuwa tukienda kazi. Tumekuwa tu ni hospitali, nyumbani, na hata mara mingi tunashida naye sababu huwezi ukamwasha, sababu ni dakika yote waweza itwa, sababu mara anakosa hewa, mara kifua inamuuma, ni kulia tu na kumrudisha hospitali.
The family is now calling on well-wishers to help them raise 1.6 million shillings for their son's heart surgery.
Pesa yenye imeitishwa imekuwa mingi kuliko yenye naweza pata. Sasa naomba wahisani wema, marafiki, wanisaidie tu raise 1.6 million ndio Fefa atibiwe, at least aendelee na maisha na arudi shule kama watoto wale wengine, sababu daktari alisema akitimiwa maisha yake iko sawa na itawezekana.
Katika hiyo hali ya kwenda hospitali kutibiwa, hiyo miaka yote amekuwa naenda, tumetumia pesa, lakini kwa saa hizi tumefinyika. Tunaomba kama watu marafiki na watu wa Kenya mtusaidie, alafu huyu mtoto aweze kutibiwa, maisha yake iendelee.
You can channel your help through paybill number 247247, account number 0794249774. Pauline Nasimil for Legends Edition.
What am I forgetting? Nini? Workers paid. Rent checked. Mlango locked. Visiting gas. Goza mzae silitoa jana la internet sorted. What is it? What am I forgetting? What?
Nini? Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Unaweza shinda hadi milioni 2 kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 7577. Account number weka neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa kisha subiri draw. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLP.
The Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA, will be holding a clinic at Nyeri's Huduma Center from the 17th to the 21st of April 2023. Our officers will be on hand to answer any questions you may have on saving for retirement, information on the process of filing a complaint with RBA and the resolution process, technical assistance on RBA online tools like the Whistleblower Portal, RBA mobile app, the process of registration and licensing of retirement benefit schemes. Remember, anyone with an income can save for retirement. Come know more about which retirement benefits scheme you can join. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
kuna kama wiki mbili hivi nilikuwa nafikiria kuenda kwa pale dukani kuchukua kampani hiyo. Hii familia yetu ako na shida juu naona iko mtu kwa pale hospitali. Hata mimi pia hapa niko na shida. Huyu ni mama ako na shida juu haki na kitu ya kukula. Tangu juzi alipata uga nusu akapika jioni pale. Jana hakukula kitu. Saa hii tunatetemeka tu hapa tukiwa hapa nyumbani.
We are coming to you from the Kinango Sub-County Hospital in Kwale County, where the Kenya Medical Research Institute, that is KEMRI, has introduced the biometric vaccination registration for babies at birth.
We are trying to come up with a system that we can actually capture the fingerprints of children 2 hours after birth.
Tuna collect information ya mtoto ambao ndio vaccines, ndio maana pia kapatiwa jina vaccination management system. Tuna collect information yake, tukifanya nini? Maana yake mtoto yote ukimrekodi ama unamcapture una create profile yake, kuna njia zenye zinakupelekea wende ufungue tusemeo profile ya mtoto.
Ni kubwa, ni mingi, ni tamu, ni yako na ni moto.
Tumengojea sana show ya Kikenya ambayo inatuelewa na inatujali na pia inajumuika nasi katika magumu ya maisha. Guess what? We have it. The Lotto Moto Show! Uko na uwezo wa kujishindia hadi 2 million Kenyan shillings kupitia draw yetu popote unapotutazama. Na tuko na haja ya kusikia story na magumu unayoyapitia. Tutakuita kwenye show na tutarahisisha mahali. Nafasi za wageni watatu zipo katika kila show ambao wanajipatia fursa ya kujichagulia sanduku moja kati ya 12. Kila sanduku liko na zawadi kem na za kipekee. With lots of fun, lots of prizes and money. Lotto Moto coming to you soon. Only on KBC. See ya.
We thank you for keeping it Legends Edition. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has termed Azimio Coalition demands calling for the opening of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC servers for verification of the August 2022 general elections results as unwarranted. Mudavadi, who was speaking at the funeral service of businessman Patrick Amugune Najoli in Chandumba village of Kilingili sub-location in Sabatia Backyard, Vihiga County, said the Azimio wing, led by ODM leader Raila Odinga, wants Kenyans to believe that the elections were not free and fair.
It is wrong to subject Kenyans to a process which was concluded. 6 months later, you're coming to say that it was not right, and you went through all the motions. That is not good, and that means you are underestimating the intelligence of the Kenyan people on this matter.
Nataka kuambia wa Kenya mahali mko, mambo ya maandamano muachane na hayo. Siasa iliisha. Hata sisi wengine tulikuwa na ulalamishi. Nilisimama kule Malava, nikajua nilipita.
Police began a probe into the controversial preacher of the Good News International Church in Malindi, Paul Mackenzie. Kilifi County Commissioner Josephat Biwott revealed that Paul Mackenzie's church was closed in 2019. 4 adherents affiliated to Mackenzie's church died after starving to death under unclear circumstances. The preacher, who surrendered to police on Friday, will be arraigned in court come Monday.
Police have launched investigations into the death of 4 people who are followers of controversial Pastor Paul Mackenzie of Good News International Church. Kilifi County Commissioner Josephat Biwott revealed that they have rescued all the people who were in danger.
Usiwahi kubali watoto wetu wakubwa ama waingie kanisa kama hiyo wakati wazee na wamama wako. Na waomba sana, tumeweka mikakati kama security committee both ya Kilifi County na Malindi kuhakikisha kwamba mambo kama haya haiwezi rudia tena.
Biwott said the preacher will not be allowed to continue with his activities which are endangering the lives of innocent Kenyans.
Wananchi wa Kilifi, especially watu wetu wa Malindi, mbona mnatanganywa kiasi hiyo? Pastor anaendelea kukula.
Kilifi leaders led by Public Service Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa want the controversial preacher handed a life sentence to bring to an end his mission of luring innocent Kenyans into his cult.
Na wale wa familia ambazo wanajifanya wanapakana na Makenzi, nataka nyinyi moyo askari. Mkiona watu huko wanajifanya wako msituni, sijui kumwabudu Makenzi, sisi wenyewe ndio watakula viboko kutoka kwetu.
Irate residents are baying for his blood following the death of people who are allegedly forced to starve to death. The residents vow not to allow the preacher to continue with his misleading teachings.
Akae ndani kwa sababu ya usalama wake. Akitoka nje Makenzi hana usalama.
The Good News International Church was closed in 2019, forcing the pastor to seek refuge in the nearby Shakahola village, where he continued with his rituals and recruiting new members. Timothy Kipnusu for Legends Edition.
Time now for another break, but don't go too far because legend Tope Liambila is coming to you with all the latest news in sports.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Ili kupata sikiza tuni hii ya Usini Record, bonyeza *811*396#.
Unakata pia kabaya wa Kenya mnakuanga nako ya kuweka mtu kwa speaker alafu mnarekodi sauti yake bila ruhusa. Nikipata sauti yangu ina trend huko nje na kuna pesa napata, mtajua mimi mlu yako na roya na sina roya binadamu. Usini Record.
Ili kupata sikiza tuni hii Usini Record, bonyeza *811*396#.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Welcome to Take on Tech. This is the show that keeps you updated on everything you need to know about technology.
First of all, the women that are already in tech should be empowered.
I've actually studied electrical and electronics engineering, telecommunications option. So basically I'm in the tech sector.
The government should empower the girl child in a way that they should venture so much into ICT.
There's never a dull moment with us. Tune in every Monday from 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet. Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Good evening.
This is the sports segment of the Legends edition this Saturday evening. I'm Topi Liambila. Kabras Sugar won the 2023 Enterprise Cup title for the third time in a row after humbling arch rivals KCB 30-27 in a final match played at the RFUA grounds today. The Kenya Cup champions Kabras claimed the trophy for the third time, having won it in 2019 and 2022. KCB started on a high note after scoring quick conversions in the opening minutes of the game, with Kabras trailing 18-7 at the half-time. Kabras opened the second half of with a penalty to cut the score to 21-20 and reduced the gap to 27-23 with less than 10 minutes to go. Kabras snatched a last-minute try to seal the victory at 30-27. Meanwhile, Kenya Harlequins beat KCB 36-26 to be crowned winners of the Mwamba Cup, and elsewhere, Mombasa won the nationwide championship after beating JKUAT Cougars 31-16. The national women's cricket team will take part in this year's edition of the Victoria 2020 series, set to be held in Kampala, Uganda between 18th and 23rd of this month at the Lugogo Cricket Oval. The team includes 14 players led by Captain Bata Sharon Juma, and while other players in the team are Vice Captain Nesta Wangare, wicket-keeper Charity Mudhoni, and bowlers Lindsay Nabwire and Marion Juma, among others. Participating teams will use the event to prepare for the International Cricket Council Women's T20 World Cup Africa qualifiers, which will be held in South Africa in September. Other teams that will be participating in the event include Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and the United Arab Emirates. Defending champions Zimbabwe will not take part in the event. The national netball team that will take part in the World Netball Ranking Series tournament, slated for the 24th to the 29th of this month in Australia, has been selected. The global event has attracted 8 countries in total.
The team, which was unveiled today at City Stadium by Kenya Netball Federation, comprises of 12 players, including Beatrice Kabucho, Bridget Nanzala, Pauline Simiyu, Lucy Otieno and Lillian Wekesa, among others.
We've been training, which is good training, for the past 1 month, and we are really prepared. We got a challenge from the last tournament that we had in South Africa, but being in position 5 that we had last time, we believe this time we are going to be position 1 or 2.
Promising Team Kenya, our Kenya, that we'll go and represent you well. When we come back, we're coming with a good win this time.
The Kenya Netball Federation President Immaculate Kabudha said the team will now start their preparations for the global event set to be held in Australia.
Team Kenya is actually going to be among the world teams that will now be participating in the Commonwealth and qualifying Commonwealth and Olympics. In fact, that is our target. So we have a lot of high hopes, and I believe our girls are going to do very well. They have really undergone training.
The World Netball Ranking Series has attracted 8 countries, including 3 African teams, namely Kenya, Malawi and Zambia. The selection was preceded by friendly matches involving Legends team, school teams and clubs. In some of the matches played, Davis thrashed the Kenya Prison team 47-7, while Mombasa team beat Nairobi 10-8. Nairobi also trounced Nyeri team 16-2. King Orimangi for Legends Edition.
The first ever National Football League, NFL Talent Identification Camp and NFL Football Showcase to be held in Kenya ended today at the Kasarani Stadium. Successful players will be invited to take part in the NFL International Combine and NFL International Player Pathway Program. They may also get the opportunity of joining the NFL Academy as part of the league's ongoing efforts to advance pathways for international players to play in the NFL.
At least 10 schools from Nairobi took part in the 3-day event held at Kasarani Stadium. The event was one of the first official NFL event in Kenya and is part of the league's expansion of the NFL African program.
I think those kids, they are really talented. It just comes down to learning the game. But the skill set and talent is there. They just need the guidance and people to be around them to teach them and develop them. So in terms of skill set, which is a good part, they have all the tools.
The NFL also hosted flag football training clinics for all local teachers and the Kenyan Federation of American Football to help develop coaching skills to deliver the game and enable participation growth across the country.
We are happy about flag football and introduction of the same in our country. We've been working with the team in a partnership agreement whereby we see the game grow in the country.
Organizer of the event said their aim is to create opportunities for the next generation of African players and also to inspire young people to play the game around the world.
Just looking around, we were excited to come to Kenya and seeing children pick up footballs for the first time and try these drills for the first time. We can see they're enjoying themselves. They've already got lots of skills that are involved with the sport, and you can tell, they're going to pick this up so quickly. And we're just so excited to see, what's going to happen when we come back later in the year. The schools and children take part in a tournament, so they really get to kind of show off and showcase their skills that they've learned in the sport. And I think from today, we're going to have some fantastic players and some fantastic teams.
Successful players will be invited to the NFL International Combine, NFL International Player Pathway programs, or the opportunity to join the NFL Academy in the UK as part of league efforts to advance pathway for international athletes to play in the NFL. For Legends Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
Then from the National Hockey League, Kenyatta University men's hockey team secured their first win of the season after beating visiting Kisumu Youngsters 1-0 in the Kenya Hockey National Union League, match played at the City Park Stadium in Nairobi. The team is now second in the Super League standings behind Multimedia University. Let's take a look.
Kenyatta University registered their maiden win in the Hockey League this season after beating Kisumu Youngsters 1-0 at the City Park Hockey Stadium. A lone goal was netted by Richard Abudi. In another match played today, Mombasa Sports Club men drew 2-2 with Park Road Burgers at the Mombasa Sports Club. In the Women's Super League, Twinkle Hockey Club humbled debutants Black Tigress 2-0. The two goals were netted by Alice Jokeo and Diana Wanjala. The club is currently topping the league table. In the National League Western Zone, Bungoma Farmers were awarded a walkover and 3 points after debutants Western Jaguars development team failed to turn up for the match that was scheduled to be played in Bungoma. Kisii Falcons also fell short to Nandi Hawks after losing 1-2 at a match staged in Kisii. University of Nairobi defeated debutants Kirinyaga Knights 2-1 in the National League Eastern Zone tier.
FIBA Zone 5 Champions Kenya Ports Authority women's basketball team registered a narrow 52-44 win over resilient Zitec Sparks in a closely contested league match played at the Nyayo National Stadium Indoor Gymnasium. In another match, Strathmore University women's team trounced University of Nairobi Dynamites 46-35.
The Anthony Ojuku Chargers found themselves on the receiving end, losing the first quarter 5-15. The Dockers regrouped in the second quarter, which they backed 13-4 to send the match into the breather, with the students leading 19-18. After resumption, KPA strengthened their defense and with quick attacks, won the third quarter 21-10. Zitec backed the fourth quarter 15-13, but was not enough, as visitors KPA won the match 46-35. Barbara Diana was the top scorer for Zitec with 10 points, while Ifunaya Okoro scored 16 points for KPA. In other matches, Strathmore Swords defeated the University of Nairobi Dynamites 46-35, while USIU Tigers lost 44-45 to Snipers. For Legends Edition, I'm Fred Njogu.
Still on basketball, the newly constructed basketball court in Jericho has officially been handed over to the county government of Nairobi by Hennessy. Meanwhile, plans are underway to launch the California Estate Stadium, still in Nairobi.
Here we go. The basketball court in Jericho is expected to provide a platform for the youth to nurture their talent and provide an avenue to keep them busy and away from crime, drugs and unwanted pregnancy. The county government of Nairobi has collaborated with the Hennessy and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers to identify partners who will sponsor 4 basketball teams.
We are doing this intentionally just to get to the ordinary young talent, to tap to the young talent at the community level. This is intentional to make sure that we reduce the crime rate in the estates, early pregnancies, and drug abuse.
I think what makes Hennessy special is the fact that in their business model, they've always tried to take a step back, look at what they do and try to improve it.
I just want to tell the government that the youths are the guys for tomorrow. They should try to empower it as much as possible so that we have a better society in the future.
The county government will also ensure players are absorbed into companies, nurtured, trained and placed in various departments. The new basketball court will also host Kenya Basketball Federation League matches.
And from the Kenya Premier League, Tusker FC have reduced the gap between them and league leaders Gor Mahia to just 1 point after narrowly beating Kenya Police 1-0 at a game played at the Nyayo National Stadium today. Tusker now sits second on the table with 51 points, while Gor Mahia, who will take on Posta Rangers tomorrow, lead with 52 points.
Tusker FC collected maximum points from their game at hand with Kenya Police to move 1 point behind leaders Gor Mahia on the Kenya Premier League table. Tusker only scored once through Siwa Shafan in the 68th minute of the game to walk away with 3 crucial points as the title race gains momentum with 10 rounds of matches left this season. Gor Mahia have the chance to restore their 4 points cushion when they take on Posta Rangers tomorrow at the Nyayo National Stadium. Meanwhile, Kiambu County government has announced plans to construct playing grounds and fields in all of its 12 sub-counties. The program targets to tap talents in football, athletics, karate, taekwondo, among other disciplines. The program was revealed at Thika Stadium during a 2-day sports extravaganza that attracted upcoming players between the ages of 11 to 17 years.
The essence of them coming today was to get life skills, to interact with their mentors, to get exposure on how people who have been doing well in the sports, who have become successful in the sport, giving them mentorship. And that was all about today.
Apart from identifying and nurturing budding talents, the county government also revealed plans to build capacity among the technical staff by supporting the training of coaches.
And that is a wrap from the sports segment of the Legends edition. And after this following short break, Edmund Mudibo, my colleague, will come back with the Honorable Titus Mbathi on the Living Legends edition. And that's all we have for you tonight from the sports desk. My name is Topi Liambila. Stay tuned.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Nafasi yako ya kuwa mdosi wako. Jiunge na washindi tufanye biashara. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet.
Good day. My name is Edmund Mudibo. On the Living Legends tonight, we hear from a man who left teaching to pursue further education, then joined the public service. At age 36, he was a permanent secretary in the independence government and helped shape Kenya's economic path. He left the public service to venture into business. He was a Minister for Labour and later was at the heart of the NARC campaign in the year 2002. On the living legends, we speak to Honorable Titus Mbathi. Karibu sana Mzee Mbathi.
Thank you very much.
I'm so glad you could find time to join us and share your story with us and the nation at large. Karibu sana.
Well, I'm very grateful to KBC for inviting me to participate on this program on living legends. It's an honor, really, and I will have quite a few things to tell you.
I'm looking forward, and I'm privileged to, what they say, front row seat, as it were. So tell us about your early life and education.
My early life, I think, is very interesting. I was born at a place known as Kisekine, Mulango, Kitui County, on the 3rd of December 1928. You'll ask me how I'm so precise about the date. It's because my father was educated. His story is very interesting. I'll tell you a bit about it. Anyway, he recorded dates of birth, baptism, marriage, etc. of all his children. We were 13 of us, and believe it or not, I was the 7th and the only one living today. All my siblings are no more. You know, whenever the missionaries establish a station, they establish three things. First, a church. Secondly, a school, and then a dispensary. So that is the school I went to. And my early education, what was important, very important in my early education was two things: discipline and moral values. We were taught moral values and discipline. These were very important at that time. They still remain today. And those have remained as the hallmarks of my personality and integrity since then.
Interesting. So you still fasted for education and more and higher and...
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. From a young age, I was determined to get higher education. It really appears to me. It became an obsession, as a matter of fact. And God opened opportunities for me. Because after coming back, I joined the civil service as a community development officer. Was posted to my own district, Kitui. And after working for 2.5 years, I got to know that there were Fulbright scholarships being offered to students from Kenya and other places. Highly competitive, but I got one, which enabled me to go to the United States to study for a master's degree.
Now, during your tenure at the Treasury, there was the famous sessional paper number 10 of 1965. Looking at it then briefly and looking at the country today, with devolution now in place, how do the proposed development models compare or contrast?
Because at that time, there was, which you probably know, the provincial administration. That's how the country was divided into 7 provinces, actually. And each province had districts. Each district had locations. Each location had sub-locations. That was the structure as it was at that time. So development was channeled through provinces and districts and locations, etc. The idea of devolution did not occur at all at that time. Sessional paper number 10, by the way, was authored by the Ministry of Economic Development and Economic Planning and Development. And guess who the chief officers were? Tom Mboya was our minister. Mwai Kibaki was the assistant minister. And yours faithfully, myself, yes. I was the permanent secretary. So we were ex-Mangut boys. And we had a wonderful time. Sessional paper number 10 defined functions which would be undertaken by the central government, functions which would be done by the parastatals, and the functions which should be done by the private sector. That was the foundation, really, of real development in the country.
Now, you were elected into politics and, of course, appointed Labour Minister by Mzee Moi, but it ended with an interesting fallout during a public pronouncement that caught you off guard. Very quickly, what was that situation?
So in my case, we were invited to a wedding of General Mulinge's son at Storiadi. The president was a guest of honor, and there were several ministers, including me, and the head of the public service was there too. So after making his remarks, congratulating the bride and bridegroom, the president, out of the blue, ended up his remarks by saying, by the way, there are two trade unions which are not working in the interest of the government. They are the University Staff Union and Civil Servants Union. These two are not working in the interest of the government, and therefore they are deregistered with immediate effect. So I turned to my colleague, the chief of the civil service, the head of the civil service, Jeremiah Kerin, and asked him, Jeremiah, why did you not tell me, being the Minister for Labour, about this? He said, I didn't know anything about it either. So I told him, I'm going to discuss it with the president. I meant very well, because as a Minister for Labour, I regarded advising the president as my chief work, really.
Yes.
Yeah, chief responsibility. So, to cut a long story short, when I met the president, told him, Your Excellency, I didn't know anything about this, and anyway, as you are Minister for Labour, I should draw your attention to the fact that the unions should have been consulted to give their, viewpoint. So he said, no, don't you know that we are a sovereign nation and can do what we want? I said, yes, sir, but there are certain protocols, international protocols, to which we are signatories and we should respect them. Then he looked at me and said, no, we are sovereign, we can do whatever we want. And then he asked me, are you the same person I appointed minister? So I knew that my goose was cooked.
Now, your appointment post-2003 was board chairman of the power purchase producer KenGen, and you were instrumental in the transformation of the institution from being 100% owned parastatal to a listed firm at the NSC. What are some key lessons?
Well, I'll tell you about that. That's very interesting. When Kibaki came to power, he appointed me as chairman of KenGen. And at KenGen, I worked with someone with whom we were in sync. That is Eric Jeroge as the managing director, and I was chairman. And among the reforms we introduced in KenGen was that the company should not continue to be owned by the government alone. So we persuaded the government to have an IPO, initial public offer of some shares, in order to broaden the base of the company and financing. That IPO was so popular that it was oversubscribed several times. And it is what really opened the door for investing in shares and stocks. And since then, this has become a very important avenue for financing and growing our economy.
Wonderful, and I'm very pleased you penned an autobiography which I have here in my hand, My Life's Journey, an autobiography. What inspired you to put your memoirs in published form?
What inspired me was two things. One, the experiences I explained to you, particularly going through colonialism, being in the first government, seeing the Union Jack lowered and the Kenyan flag raised, at which, by the way, we all shed tears. It was a wonderful experience to know that you are no longer a British subject, but a Kenyan citizen. You just found tears flowing.
It was very emotional.
Oh, very, very emotional. We danced throughout the night. And on account of that, What was the question?
In terms of what the inspiration that got you to...
Oh, yes, to write down my memoirs.
Yes.
It's because, one, my generation is an endangered species. We are disappearing, one after another, and our experiences, unless put in writing, as I have done, will tend not to be remembered. But when they are in a written form like this, they will be remembered. Two, I have made some very positive suggestions for students and matured people alike. For students, I have stated that hard work is essential. If someone tells you, I don't study, but I get top marks, that is a lie, because he could have done better. If he is doing well without studying hard, it shows that after studying harder, he can do better. Two, discipline. During our days, you would never hear of a school building being burned by students. Never, ever. Today, it's common knowledge that many dormitories have been burned and even lives lost by fires lit by students. Students destroying their own property, as it were, because their dormitories are theirs, really, aren't they? And it's not the students who pay for the damages. It's the parents like you and me and others, you see? So that hurts people of our generation. And it's important for people to know, after reading a book like this, that during our days, discipline was topmost in schools. As a result of which, students were disciplined, and I believe disciplined students will become disciplined citizens for the better of the country. If indiscipline spreads out, as we have seen it doing, you see people, take the Mombasa Highway, for example, Mombasa Road, for example, you are driving on the left-hand side as you are supposed to, and a lorry veers off the road from the other direction, coming straight at you. There have been many collisions, as you know, lives lost, etc. Why? Because of indiscipline. These are only examples, you know.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Unless you have a disciplined society, as a country, you cannot go very far.
Now, I know this because we attend the same church.
Yes.
How has your faith, very briefly, contributed to your life's journey?
My faith has shaped my life. Because when I look back, for example, when I had given up hope of higher education, opportunities opened, totally and completely unexpectedly. Number two, when appointments were being made, you know, the civil service initially was inclined towards people who had studied in the UK to be promoted. I got appointed ahead of some of my colleagues who had gone to the UK. These are God's opportunities, and God opened opportunities for me to do well in business and so on. I did not tell you that in the course of my life I married an African American. That was God's choice also, because she was a highly spiritual lady, and she helped not only to shape the life of others, but to encourage me in my faith. So when I look at these pictures, I say, God is the one who has led me to be where I am today, to be 94 plus, when most of my colleagues have disappeared. It's only by God's grace that I have attained these verses, you know. And this has strengthened my faith. Where it was weak, it's very strong today, and I can stand on housetops, honestly, and say, I am a saved Christian. Amen. And I believe in God without any hesitation, because I know it is true. What is said in the Bible is absolutely true, and I would advocate it to others.
And indeed, Mzee Mbathi, we celebrate you as a living legend.
Thank you.
Parting short in under 10 seconds, what would be your message to those leading the country now?
My message to those leading the country now is this. Our country is greater than any one individual. In Matthew chapter 5, the Beatitudes, verse 9, it is written, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." That's a very deep statement, isn't it? So I would say, for the sake of our country, let us first acknowledge Ruto as the elected president of our country. 2, it is easy to destroy a country, but to rebuild it takes years or can become impossible. Look at our neighbors, look at Somalia, etc. So I would appeal to our leaders in the interest of our country to agree to dialogue, because with goodwill, any problem can be resolved with goodwill. Without goodwill, even the simplest of problems will become impossible to solve. So that would be my message to our leaders. Please, in the interest of our country, stick to dialogue genuinely, because without goodwill, you cannot resolve the problems. With goodwill, you can resolve our problems. Our country has got what it takes to grow, to become a tiger in this part of the world. For us to be very proud of it as we are, let us not destroy the good country which God has given us. Let us put aside selfish interests and the interests of the country, agree to dialogue genuinely, and resolve the existing problems. And I'm sure God will open the way for us to live in peace with one another.
Asante sana, Mzee Mbathi. How time flies, like we say. My life's journey and autobiography, you've inspired me. I think I have a story to tell. And yes, it has been a pleasure speaking to the Honorable Titus Mbathi on the Living Legends. He was the chair of the Kenyan board when it went public. Had a tiff with former President Moi over the deregistration of unions, and was a permanent secretary in Kenya's first administration. Thank you very much, Honorable Mbathi, for being our guest this evening. Thank you for being in this show, and thank you too for watching this edition of Living Legends. My name is Edmund Mudibo.
Thank you very much.